So when we talk about this particular subject, again, Aleister Crowley, attempting to discover those evil emissaries discussed in the last century could be extended from the cosmos into man's reality, undertook to create a magical vortex that would span the gap between the world of the seen and the unseen. Okay, the question came up about what is a vortex. Well, essentially what he was trying to do is create a doorway from their dimension into our dimension, where evil entities could literally come through into our dimension. These are sometimes referred to as stargates, sometimes referred to as wormholes, vortexes. Typically, it's many times the places where they'll do these will be in some place where either there's been a ton of innocent blood that's been shed, because that defiles the land, tons of witchcraft ceremonies have been performed, or where what we call ley lines cross, which are lines that are on the earth that, particularly where they cross, and again, you can't see the lines. It's more of a magnetic type of thing, okay? But where these lines cross are many times where there'll be a lot of paranormal activity. It will be where, if you've seen these places across America or in the world where you'll go to these houses and like they do all these things where like it looks like balls roll up hills and there's all these magnetic anomalies. Excuse me, it's almost like a fun house, but they have them in different parts. There's one not too far from where we live here in Boone, which is up in the mountains, and all kind of weird magnetic anomalies exist at these places. And a lot of times it's where ley lines will cross these, and they have what they call power points. And these are where these vortexes are created, these vortexes of energy. Occultists will be attracted to these areas because many, many times they're able to work their magic, their spells, much better than if they just work it at some random location. So just to kind of give you a little bit of, I believe, well, let me just say the next sentence here, and then I'll comment a little bit more. Crowley's ritual was called the Alamtroth working, and according to his records, he became successful when a presence was manifested itself through the rift, through one of these vortexes or stargates. Okay, he called this being Lam, and he drew a portrait of it. And the startling image, detailed over 90 years ago, bears powerful similarity with the gray aliens of modern pop culture. Okay, so Crowley did this really, really high-level working. And he did it, I believe, in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So it was at one of these, like the Great Pyramid of Giza would be one of these extremely high-level PowerPoint areas where an occultist would be attracted to in order to work magic. Okay? That's a great example of like a mega place where they would be attracted to do magic, their magic. And this Lam character, who looks kind of like a gray alien, came through this, and he gave him the text to this whole book. I think it was called Thelma. And a lot of it became like part of the Bible that Aleister Crowley ended up writing for occultists. So then, nearly 3 decades after the Alamtroth working, rocket scientist and co-founder of Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Jack Parsons, and his pal, L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology, and also Satanist. Did you know that? The guy that started Scientology was a Satanist. Now, if you want to know about any of these subjects, just go up to contendingfortruth.com and just key in Scientology in my search box there. If you can't find a particular subject, you can go up to YouTube and key in Scott Johnson and then Scientology or something like that. Because although we have a fully searchable database, sometimes some of them don't come up, and I'm not 100% sure why. But between those two options, you should be able to find the teachings. Anyway, him and his buddy Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, Church of Scientology founder, conducted a second ritual called the Babylonian Working, in which they attempted to reopen Crowley's gateway. These men were not looking for Lam. They wanted to incarnate the whore of Babylon. That was their goal. A demon child, or a Geborum. is what they were actually trying to incarnate. Through a portal during ritual sex. I believe they had like gay sex with one another. And that is a lot of times how they on some of the highest level occult workings like this, Crowley did that too. They will actually have to have gay sex in order for whatever entity they're trying to invoke for him to come. That's how sickening the realm of what we're getting into. There's no end to the depravity and depths of Satan. Satan doesn't have any scruples, put it that way. So, these men were not looking for Elam. They wanted to coronate the whore of Babylon. Parsons wrote that the ceremony was successful, and that at one point a brownish, yellowish light came through the doorway and something invisible struck him, knocking a candle out of his hand. It is interesting to note that following Crowley's magic portal, which allegedly produced the alien-looking Lam, and Hubbard and Parsons' Babylonian working ritual, Crowley died that same year. And that same year was the first Roswell crash. And it was also the same year Kenneth Arnold saw his flying saucers and sightings of aliens around the world. Because we weren't getting like tons of UFOs and stuff like that up until 1947 when Roswell happened. So, again, what they actually created with these portals, who knows? But we know it wasn't good. Some believe that this is evidence that a demonic portal was indeed breached by these men. So, you have to understand, this is what CERN, the particle collider over in Europe, that's what CERN's all about. What they're trying to do is literally create mega portals and doorways so that these fallen angelic beings can enter into our plane of existence freely, with no impediments at all. And you might say, well, they can do that anyway. Well, no, I don't think they can. And I think that's why evil men and seducers are waxing worse, deceiving and being deceived, according to 2 Timothy 3:13. Because as wickedness abounds, I understand grace all the more, but as this wickedness abounds, it's defiling the land. As more abortions take place in the death mills of Planned Parenthood across the world, it's defiling the land. It's allowing evil to literally come in and saturate our plane of existence. It also, I believe, has something to do with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, which talks about he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then it says, and then that wicked one shall be revealed. This restraining force of God, he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. It's almost like this restraining hand of God is being slowly removed. I mean, you got to admit everything's getting more wicked by the day. I mean, I don't think there's any debate on that. So I believe that it's part of God's plan, because he predicted it was going to happen. You look at the book of Daniel, you look at the book of Revelation, you look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and then that wicked one will be revealed. And then it goes on, to say, for this cause God shall send them being the majority of people on the planet, because the Bible says, narrow is the way which leadeth to life eternal, and few there be that find it. Broad is the way which lead to destruction, and many there be that go there. Hey, I wish everybody gets saved. I really do. But the reality is that the Bible says, few there be that find it. Doesn't mean we should go around thinking we're better than anybody. That's for sure. And yes, we should try to lead people to the Lord, and give out tracts and do these types of things and try to educate people. Because that's our job. Part of our job as Christians. I don't think there's anything greater than somebody could do than lead somebody to the Lord. I can't imagine, you're dealing with a soul here. You can help somebody out and do this or that for them, but actually leading somebody to the Lord, I think that's about the highest thing anyone could aspire to. But it says, for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they will believe a lie. Now, these devils and these demons and these evil entities coming through these portals, do you think they're coming over here to tell us the truth? No, they're coming here to deceive us in every way imaginable. Look at all the multitude and myriads of religions that we